This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Elisha. So I guess I have to introduce myself a little bit. So I am the news editor at GamingTrend. It's a small site. And you can follow me on there or Katamari's Forever on Twitter.
That's Wild Card Wednesdays.
That's much better. All right. So this topic is kind of close to Elisha's heart over there. We're going to say he's probably the most knowledgeable of the three of us on this, although I know a little bit. It's a game series called Katamari Damacy, right? I pronounced that right?
Yeah, you can say Katamari Damacy or Katamari Damacy. It doesn't really matter. Damacy or she, it doesn't really matter. I'm not a Japanese guy, so I'm Filipino, but it was whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, the series right here, when did it first come out? Was it PS2?
So, yeah, PS2 came out in 2004, I believe both in Japan and America, just like a few months away. Basically, it's a story about a little prince of all cosmos has to like pick up like the slack after his dad, the king of all cosmos. In the Japanese version, he gets drunk and goes on a party and destroys all the stars. But in the US, he just destroys the stars for some reason. Yeah, it's just crazy from there, and then it just keeps getting crazier. You roll up stuff, at first you're like a little, ball in a house, and you roll up things like mice and like thumbtacks, and then eventually you'll go to like cats and like chairs, and eventually people, and then countries. It gets really crazy. The original one was actually kind of like a cult classic. It was actually the reason I bought a PS2 when I was a kid in like 2005. Or 2006, I think that's when I got a PS2.
I thought this game was really expensive, but I guess it's not. Oh, maybe it is.
No. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so it really was. It was only $20 when it first came out because it was like, hey, it's really cheap, and I remember that being a cheap price. But then the thing is, they undersold it. So I think in the Wikipedia article it said like more than 100,000 or something, which isn't too you think it's small, but for like I would say it was an indie game at the point, or a small Bandai Namco game. And it was just like, boom, it exploded. Everyone loved it. So it was really expensive for a time. I bought it, I think, in 2008. Like, I borrowed it a while back, but then I bought it like 2008, back when it was still like $20. But it used to be, it'd go for like double price just because of the whole, short print run.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, it's been, re-released on PS3. There's a remake on the Switch and PC. So if you want to try it out, Katamari Damacy Reroll is it's worth your time. I'll just say that. $30, but it's worth it.
So it looks like, just to verify what you said, it looks like 120,000 units were sold in North America back in the time it came out.
Yeah.
And then it says apparently a lot of people have ranked it as one of the top games ever made. So that's interesting because I've never played it.
It's weird because I'll see them in like best of lists where they'll say, oh, it's like a quirky little puzzle game, and I can see that. Like, it really is kind of one of those influential Japanese sort of things where it's like, if you think of Japanese games that aren't like anime, like visual novels or stuff, you'll think of like Katamari Damacy. That's it. It's very campy in terms of how it's like colored, how it's all like blocky graphics, but it really holds up. I played the original that was like re-released on the PS3, I think a few years, or maybe like last year again. It still looks pretty nice, I must say. As for the actual, like the people that made the game, Keita Takahashi, he quit working on it after the second game. So the sequel came out in, I believe, I want to say 2005, 2006. We Love Katamari, which is my all-time favorite game, just for reference. So that was his last project, and since then the series has kind of gone like to a weird dry spell, I guess. Hasn't been as innovative as it could be. Beautiful Katamari, which is a 360 one that came out like I think a couple years after We Love Katamari, didn't have the same magic, and also had like a DLC thing where you bought DLC but it wasn't actual DLC, it was like a key. So that's why. And then Katamari Forever came out 2009, and that was kind of like a compilation of the first three main games. So yeah, and a lot of little side projects, mobile games, and they remade Katamari Damacy, the first one, on Switch and PC last December. So it's still there. It
So
exists.
this video feed we're looking at right here, is this like legit gameplay?
Yes, you're basically rolling a ball, and this is Jacksepticeye doing this. I like his accent when he does this, but yeah, you're basically rolling a ball, and the thing is, you can't get smaller things or you can't get bigger things until you pick up smaller things. So
He was
I
stuck
believe
there for a second. Can you get
Yep.
stuck?
you can, but it's easy to get out at the
Oh,
cost
okay.
of stuffing your ball coming out.
Gotcha.
It's fun. It's fun trying to describe this to people without like them freaking out.
So you're just trying to make the ball bigger?
Yes, that's basically it. So I believe he already has it done, but I think it's 200 centimeters here or 2 meters. I can't read it from his like overlay. But some, these in this game, like some stages have a size requirement, whereas other stages like you'd have to collect a certain object, like because it's constellations. So for example, I think Cygnus, which is like that constellation of like a duck, I think you get like geese. Or I think geese are swans. Gemini is twins, so you like pick up twins. It's like the weirdest thing. Cancer is crabs, but yeah.
I mean, it looks interesting. Well, I mean, what do you think looking at this right now, Will?
Well, I mean, at first I was like, it's just rolling the ball around. But I get the idea of like the quirky puzzling because you're rolling around looking for those smaller pieces to get get those bigger pieces and grow the ball. I think it'll be hard to tell just from gameplay if I would like this or not.
It's one of those games where like I can actually literally give someone a controller, I'll be like, just play this, and then you'll especially in like some of the mid stages where you roll up people.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is like this is the cutscene. It's basically like a family is trying to like the dad's an astronaut and the kids are like looking at what the stars being gone. So basically, it's like a story that's happening parallel to what you're doing. But yeah, so it's one of those games where I can just give someone a controller. It doesn't matter, like my mom or someone who doesn't play games, and be like, just do this. They'll play it for like a few minutes, start laughing, and they'll be like, oh, I actually do like this game. And yeah, it's really simple. I'll just say that.
I feel like this is like a pick up and play kind of game. Like anybody
Yep.
can pick it up and try it.
Yep. It is rather short, I believe. I want to say. Yeah, I believe it's like around 3-ish hours, 3 or 4, for like if you were to play the whole thing, just like run through it. Not too big, but there's a lot of replay value. A lot of it's a very high score type game if you're into that.
Cool. So you mind if we move on to our second? This is Katamari Damacy, presented by the CHRILLCAST with Elisha guest starring. You want to move on to our next topic?
Totally, yeah.
So, Elisha, you're probably one of the best people I know to talk about this with, but the current state of gaming journalism. So the first question is, what would you say it's like being a gaming journalist?
Okay, so kind of maybe I should go into my background a little bit.
Sure.
So I have a day job as redacted, as sometimes, but like I do love writing. Like that's kind of a big thing of my my side passions and stuff. I did a lot of novel stuff, proofreading, all that fun stuff. I decided to pick up, I believe it was called Examiner. It was like this old site that you can't look at it anymore, but because it shut down.
What was the site again? I want to look it up again.
It's called examiner.com or something.
No.
It's
your current one.
Oh, GamingTrend. Sorry.
GamingTrend.
Yeah. So basically, like after that other site like closed down, I was randomly looking at stuff because I think I interviewed a couple people before the site shut down. It was the people from Runbow. I don't know if you know 13A.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I interviewed him. Dave, I forgot his name. Dave something. And I was like, oh, I should do this more. And actually, I wanted to go to E3. I didn't go because I didn't really know what to do. But that was kind of my goal. And that's when the site shut down. I was so sad. But the thing is also, I was looking at ads, and then I saw an ad for the Psychology of Gaming Trend. I was interested, emailed the guy, and he was cool about it. And yeah, there I am now. And about a year and a half later, August 2017, so you look at my bio, I decided I got promoted to one of the news editors, my friend. So now he's a lead news editor now, and I'm just a news editor, but we still have basically the same job. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I am right now. So anyways, gaming journalism. Let's continue. It's getting into that weird thing. I don't know how deep I can talk about in specifics, but especially with like E3, I don't know if you know what the state of E3 is now.
It's not
Basically,
very
they're
good.
yeah, they're flocking away from it, especially with like the whole violence reports and all that other stuff. They're trying to make it more of a fan event, like PAX or those types of conferences. But the thing with E3, it was meant to be like an exclusive, kind of like gathering for media types. So when they opened the doors in 2017, I actually did go with like my friend, and I wanted to go, but then like I actually got really sick the week before, so I had to cancel. It sucked. I hated it. But yeah, and this is on the screen here is actually a Q&A I did with Josh Fairhurst, can't pronounce names today, of Limited Run Games. So basically, they were talking about the state of their publishing thing of Axiom and Verge. Basically, publisher kind of dishonored the deal of the developers, and that's kind of what happened. So, it's a good thing because Limited Run Games now has their first Wii U release. I don't know if you bought it, but those are really hard to find.
I just debuted it on the last podcast. I'm sure, not the last one, the one before that, I showed off my copy of it. But yeah, I did pick it up. I actually specifically picked this one up because it actually does support the developer, unlike the previous release I bought thinking I supported the developer.
Right, and that's kind of how I feel about that too, and everything. So it was really cool because like a lot of people are really actually open in terms of like devs and publishers. If for me, I just kind of have to loop in my editor in chief, but I really I really am grateful for the opportunities they have. Like really, just like email people and say, hey, you want to conduct an interview? Do you want to do this? Meet up, whatever, like digitally. I do like it. So for gaming journalism, it's a lot of access, relationship type stuff, right? It's kind of like you do. I don't want to say it's not like being like super friendly to the point where it's like buddy, but at the same time, it's kind of like you cover more stuff, and the person will give you more stuff to get, right? Like for review codes and everything that we get. Like the more you cover something, the more likely you are to get something to review or to get something to just like look at, right? And I feel like some people are starting to see that as like, oh, you're getting shilled, right? You're shilling, you're getting paid off for reviews. We always get like the top reviews. I usually don't review like the AAA titles. It's usually other editors. But like if they give a game a high score, I think one of the biggest, I guess, hot takes, is our editor-in-chief gave Order 1886, that PS4 title, a 95. Give it a 95.
Believe it or not, I've heard that game is actually pretty good, but it's not for everyone. So maybe it could just be the personal taste, and that's one of the biggest problems I see right now. Just if you don't mind me just jumping on what you were saying,
no problem.
Is when a fan reviews a game, they're going to have bias.
Right.
And a lot of times, the people that want to review the games push to review that game, and I think sometimes you got to take a step back and say this might be a conflict of interest for me to review this game.
Right.
And that might be part of the problem.
That's true also, because like, for example, and here's the thing too, because like that also goes to like not just editors but also our readers. I remember covering, I think it was like a Guild Wars 2, just like a press release. You basically just cite the press release, add some stuff in it, like a few paragraphs of stuff, and then you post. But the thing is, like, that's all I know. I don't really know much about MMOs, so I just literally just posted the press release and cited, and then the person's like, "Oh, you didn't give us this information," but like I didn't know, I'm kind of like, I'm just covering the news. I'm not a fan of the series or the genre. I'm just letting you guys know that this is available or this is coming up. And I there is some pushback when it comes to that sort of thing. But
I think that's kind of unfair pushback if you're not claiming it's a review and you're not claiming to know a lot about it. You're just saying, hey, I just want to let you guys know this is coming out.
Right.
And you've put that in the release, then I don't think anybody can fault you for that, whether they think they should or not.
Right.
That's my take.
But go ahead.
I'd like to move on to the second question, and it kind of goes along with what we were saying, so it works pretty good. I guess these questions can go hand in hand. Why do you think that gaming journalism has such a negative connotation nowadays? And on top of that, the YouTube creators, such as like the quartering, probably are not helping. And what's your take on those types of things?
Okay, so I do like gaming YouTubers. I'll listen to a lot of them and stuff. and I do understand that the problems that gaming journalism does have. I'm not going into specifics or anything, but like I'll see what do you call it? An article. I think it was like Amiibos as butt plugs, and I'm just like, dude, what the heck? Like that's literally an article. I don't know. I don't think you should look that up. I believe it's one of the bigger outlets. I know that. And I'm just like looking at this. I'm like, well, this isn't. It's a good satire piece. Like put it on the Hard Times, or what do you call it? AV Club or the Onion. But I'm just like, why would this be this is an actual article that you did. You thought of that. You put it on there. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So a lot of it is kind of goes into like the bias sort of thing as well. It's like, oh, I'm biased towards this thing, like anti corporations or something, or anti blank, and I'm going to frame my review just on that specific thing, right? Like, we all have beliefs. We all have different things we believe in, different kind of like things we look at in a game, right? And we sometimes let that bleed over to a point where it affects the score, it affects whatever, right? It's like, because I have a personal stake in this, it's not a conflict of interest, but it's like, I have a personal stake, therefore I'm going to view this negatively no matter what. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen like the Far Cry 5 controversy and stuff, or even the Far Cry like New Dawn stuff, right? You'll see like a weird hot take that's kind of, you're looking at it and just like, what's happening, right?
Or like you're reviewing the ideology in the game that's not necessarily meant to drive the story, but it's there.
Right.
Or it's not even there, and they just want it to be there.
Yeah, I guess that's true
right.
too. You might make up a take based on your opinion of the game.
Right.
Not you specifically. I'm saying that journalists. I think sometimes it's hard to separate the journalist from the story when they've got a hot take. Just for example, I just saw this. Apparently, Kotaku rated video game porn on their website, and it was a front headline. They had to apologize for it because they included some images that were not savory for the audience. And
SOW.
That was pretty bad. The Quartering covered that. I was like, I'm totally on board, dude. You're right. They should not do this.
Right. Oh my gosh. So I mean, like, yeah. The thing is, I don't think people mind if you have a bias towards something, but just like let it out instead of trying to disguise it like, oh, this is objective, this is a thing. Exactly.
If you have this hot take that's not about the game, it's about your own personal beliefs. Yeah, you should probably just say, hey, this is my bias. Now, understand with a grain of salt, this is my review.
Right. Because there's a good. It's like a small site. It's called, I think, Christ Center Gamer or something, and they're Christian gamers and stuff. So they actually do have like two parts of the review where they actually talk about the game and its mechanics, but then they also have like a morality score where it's like their beliefs and how it kind of aligns with that. So it's like they separate both, the art from whatever their beliefs are. So it's like a subjective versus objective sort of thing. I don't know if you can reach their site right now just because like it's getting like attacked by bots and stuff.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, but like
what's the site called?
Christ-centered gamer, I think. So they're like a small site and everything, and like I know a lot of people actually do appreciate them. Yeah, you can't reach it right now because it's getting like I don't know if it's getting a DDoS or something, but and they're very transparent about like what they do. Like whenever they get a donation or whenever like they have like a business offer, they'll say we are getting paid by this company. Like they're just saying they're very transparent, and that's also a negative connotation too, because you have to get sponsored by stuff. You have to keep the lights on, right? And how do you do that with sponsorships, with ads? But sometimes that turns into something like, oh, because you paid me, I kind of need to like cover it more, and that's. I'm not accusing any outlets of doing that, right? But I'm just saying like that is a possibility that happens, right?
Yeah, we need to disclose that Elisha is repping Five Nights at Freddy's right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep. There you go. I'm paid by Scott Cawthon. Oh, speaking of which, I actually did want to interview Scott Cawthon. That's like my lifetime goal. He doesn't do interviews.
Oh, really?
I've literally like talked to him twice. He's like, I don't do interviews. I'm like, I appreciate that. And then I wanted to talk with like the people that did the VR game, because they there was a different like studio that made it. They didn't answer me, but whatever.
So I have to say that when you highlight a negative portion of a group of people, in general. Like if you just take a small group of people that are kind of dissenters versus the group as a whole, similar to how people view gamers kind of negatively right now because of some of the journalism coverage that's occurred in the past.
Right.
When you take just a couple bad examples, bad eggs in the journalism crowd, and you cover them on a consistent basis, I think it makes all of the journalists look bad. And that's just not the case. There's a lot of good journalism out there that's still occurring. Yeah. It's just the loudest and squeakiest cogs always get the oil. It's always the case, no matter what job you work. And when you work in a job where there's all this controversy, that negative connotation just seems to wrap itself around it.
That's true. Like, for example, I feel like all the people that I work with at GamingTrend, they're all pretty cool people, right? I don't think there's anyone that has, really a negative taste towards gamers, or they're like, oh, we hate video games. And sometimes I feel like some of the worst people are like, oh, I just want to write because I have to write.
Like, but I know a lot of making like a main journal, so I'm going to do gaming journalism and push my ideology.
Right, and then maybe
people like that.
Maybe like get senpai to notice me, kind of, and be like, yeah, there you go. It's like, but I know a lot of games journalists are super passionate about their job, about what they do, and I do appreciate that. For every Amiibo's butt plugs thing, we get like a Jason Schreier like expose on what do you call it, Brash Games, that whole plagiarism site thing. Which fun fact, our site was actually kind of involved with that too, in terms of like getting affected by poaching writers. Like the guy like emailed me. He's like, oh, can you write for us? And like, we had to talk about it with our editorial staff and stuff. We're like, don't listen to this guy because he's trouble. Right? So
I think Jason Schreier is one of those guys is like 50-50. Sometimes I appreciate his writing and sometimes I'm just not there with him. But he does a decent job trying to defend his own people on his site. But like I said, sometimes his hot takes are just like, what?
That's true. Really? And I mean, when he does
legit gaming journalism, I appreciate him.
Right.
That's my opinion of him.
Okay. Yeah, that's a thing too. It's kind of like I might not agree with what you stand for or believe, but I do appreciate your work. I appreciate your art, kind of, right? Separate the art from the artist.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, well, I feel that way about actors and actresses all the time. It's like, I like your movie, but you're an idiot. I mean, I'm not biased at all in those opinions, but
Right.
Okay. You actually watched Captain Marvel, and I did not.
I went and saw it. I didn't particularly care for the movie, but I did still go give it the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
But yeah, so is there anything you wanted to add about gaming journalism for a Wildcard Wednesday topic?
I think it actually is really cool to see how different it kind of is just to be not to say passive, but just being a gamer and also being involved in kind of the process of making a game and stuff. I tried doing like freelance writing and everything for, I wanted to write for a game. That's kind of also a thing I wanted to do. And I did have an opportunity to do it. I don't think the writing ended up being used, but like the fact that I actually like wrote for it was kind of cool. So there's that. But I do appreciate like my time doing this because it really is a good experience, like just in general. And it's really fun just to see, getting invited to events sometimes, or even talking to people I wouldn't even imagine, on my wildest dreams. Like, again, CEOs of limited run games, they're a pretty good company. And I was like lucky to have, a few words with them. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So if you want to just give us a quick closing line, like gaming journalism, something.
I think if you guys want to like get into like writing for games, just do it. Right? Like start a blog, start something, because I know like even you guys are doing a great job with your podcast, right? That's a good start. Maybe like I don't know. I feel kind of honored to be like on the show or on the podcast as well. But I know you guys have like the opportunity to have more people on here that are bigger than me or bigger than other people, right? It'd be cool, and I think a lot of people want to be like super popular, and it's not a big thing. Just what you want to do, just cover what you're passionate about. Be fair. Don't be super like, oh, every game gets 100% because I liked it, right? But yeah, just do what you want to do in terms of gaming, and you should be fine.
Can I just add one little line to that?
Yeah, no worries.
So you talked about our podcast being able to have whoever we want on and whatnot, but the point of this podcast, and I just want to make sure this is clear, it's not to grow to be as big as like PewDiePie. It's not meant to be like
what?
It's meant to. It's really meant to be an open conversational archive of us talking to our friends and our people we admire in the industry, and just having a good conversation that other people can look at and say, okay, yeah, I agree with that point, or no, I really hate your point. I'm going to comment and say what I'm going to say to you. But,
understandable.
But it's an archived conversation of trends and things that we care about amongst friends.
Okay.
And not letting me swear.
Not letting Will swear. Not letting Will swear.
Yeah.
It's a Christian Minecraft server.
Unless we somehow got big enough that it wouldn't matter anymore about our jobs in the future.
True. Monetize everything.
At this point in time, yeah. I mean, we're just family-friendly, chill atmosphere, having a conversation for future people to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, anyways, we appreciate your comments on Katamari Damacy and gaming journalism. So that's what we got for Wildcard Wednesday. Thank you for watching. All right. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm Elisha, Saber's best girl.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.